what does, and so I'll ask you this question. What does the word Casper mean to you in the blockchain?
Well, if he's the friendly ghost, I mean, you know, he's there, he's helping you out, but you can't see him. I don't know.
That's good. But I'll give you the background on it. It's actually a really fascinating background story. Okay. So back in 2014, a couple of Israeli researchers published a paper pointing out a giant flaw in proof of stake blockchains. And as early as 2014, Vitalik, who is a super genius, already recognized that Ethereum was not going to be able to scale. So this this first massive scaling problem is something called GHOST, the greediest, heaviest observed subtree, stands for GHOST. And Vitalik's researchers came up with a friendly solution to the GHOST problem, and they called it Kaspa. So under Vitalik's guidance, there was a proposal made to scale Ethereum using this thing called Kaspa.
So YouTube, good morning. This is Black Tiger Miner here. Welcome you guys back to the Black Tiger Miner YouTube channel. Happy Friday, guys. We made it. So this is just some background about Kaspa and where it came from. So initially it was a protocol to help Ethereum with its scaling issues because, as he said, Ethereum wouldn't be able to scale. So I have another video real quick that we'll get from YouTube. And this is Charles Hoskin talking about Ethereum and describing the three protocols of Yannick Spiniski's invented. And they're actually talking about how, as well, they're used in Ethereum. So I'm just throwing these out here because I'm seeing a lot of FUD and a lot of people are saying Kaspa is going to go down and Kaspa is the highest it's ever going to be. And and Kaspa is a pump and dump and things are going to get worse for Kaspa and a lot of FUD, which is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So the reason that we're getting a lot of FUD is because people aren't buying into it, which is a good thing, right? If they buy in or don't buy in, or if they pull out, that has nothing to do with what we're doing and what the Kaspa community thinks, right? Remember, Kaspa, Kaspa, Kaspa. People fudding won't stop, right? People hating won't stop. It's up to us to stand strong and continue to hold. Kaspa's not going anywhere. And the fundamentals behind the project is solid. Don't listen to a lot of these fudders and a lot of these people saying all kind of weird things that haven't done their research. This is not financial advice, but do the research. Understand what you're investing in and continue to hold, right? So let's click to this video real quick and then we'll come back and look at the numbers.
I haven't heard a lot about this, but you're implementing the Spectre Protocol.
Yeah, well, that's a protocol we might implement. It depends upon, at the end of the day, the research development, the Zencash team's opinion, the community's opinion. But that's probably the best of the group that we've seen to start with, and a really rigorous increase.
I mean, it's extremely fascinating. I would say this is the most fascinating protocol out there.
It slows things down. It doesn't damage throughput or security. So this was a line of research that started in Israel under two people, Avi Zohar and Yonatan Samopinski.
What year did that come out?
And the first paper was called Ghost, and it came out in 2013. And actually, we included Ghost, a version of it, in the Ethereum protocol. Mm-hmm. So later on, what they did is they built up the theory, they built up the rigor, and they created a new version of the protocol called Spectre, which came out in 2016.
Right.
And they've been since iterating and refining and thinking carefully about the model.
Putting all that work into, creating a DAG, I mean, is that something that you're really serious about implementing?
Tens of thousands of transactions per second,
really?
Low latency, confirmation times. It's basically like an order of magnitude performance.
There is a big difference between the Spectre protocol and the existing DAG protocol that's being implemented in the 3 other projects we mentioned, right?
Yeah, and if Spectre is kind of fine-tuned for proof of work, whereas
It is.
IOTA and Hashgraph is not.
There it is again. People are talking about the 3 protocols from the founder, Jonathan Sumiski, invented for Kaspa. So I'm just going over some information to make sure you guys understand what you're kind of researching and dealing with. And just to make sure you guys aren't falling victim to Fudders and people just talking random nonsense. And this is the last video from Shai, which is one of the developers. And they're talking about, they do these live space videos. And he's talking about different capabilities. So let's click to this one real quick. And
as far as I know, I am not a business owner. I've never had to work against any tax agency, especially not outside of Israel. But I always know that you hand them a bunch of receipts, and the main reason they have to believe you that these receipts are real and they are not cooked and they are not forged is because if you lie, you go to jail, right? It's not like they have this cryptographic way to authenticate these receipts. So I don't see how this is like inherently different than you say, okay, I got this record. I gave this guy a receipt that he paid me, I don't know, 1,000 Kaspa. Now, if you do want cryptographic proofs, then this functionality is going to be available. And it's technically possible even today, but it's not implemented, so it requires a lot of know-how to actually do, and it's not optimized. But does it really happen that the tax agencies require a cryptographic proof and not just a written receipt where they trust that you don't lie because if you do, then you're a criminal?
No, actually, in hindsight, I've just come up with the answer. I was actually involved in a crypto type court case, and they actually accepted Debank. So I used Debank.com, which is like a block explorer for Web3 wallets and MetaMask stuff. And so yeah, as long as you can go on a block explorer, etc., like cas.fii, put in an address, and just to prove that X amount landed in your wallet, etc., I think that should be fine. But
yeah, you see, they don't even authenticate the data, because technically I could just mount a block explorer and just write whatever I like there. It could be cryptographically verified, but I don't think the tax authorities actually go ahead and do it.
No.
So is this really a concern for tax audits?
No, I don't think so. But it's just a random thought that part, I guess. So okay, so based on we've covered a lot today, mining and whatnot. So this goes for all of you. So Jim, Shai, Josh, and Alex. Are there any questions that we haven't asked yet, but we really should have? Because you don't know what you don't know.
I would like to try and get a gauge, maybe from some of the audience listening, just on. I'm just trying to take myself away from what I know. So let me be clearer. So sometimes you get too close to the wood to see the trees, right? So we all think Kaspa's a great project. We're really excited about it. But with respect, we're all quite deep in the crypto space. Is Kaspa a strong enough and exciting enough project currently for Kaspa to be, say, the first coin that someone ever buys in the ecosystem? Are there any new people, maybe in this chat or of anecdotal understanding, that Kaspa is their entry mechanism into crypto? Because that would be quite cool to know.
I guess the feedback's going to be a bit delayed because people then have to put their hand up to speak, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you want, anyone wants to contribute to that, yeah, feel free
Well,
to.
I think I could say in some way that it was for me. I mean, I was aware of Bitcoin pretty much since it launched. I used it a little bit, and then I saw that things are not working, so I kind of gave up on the whole thing and said, okay, crypto is not gonna get anywhere. And I've been like looking around and up to about 2016, 2017, and nothing seemed like from the theoretical point of view, nothing seemed to actually provide solutions that seemed convincing to me. And then Jonathan came up with, he said, you know, I actually solved a trilemma. And I said, no, you didn't. Everybody said they solved a trilemma. Did you also invent time travel? But he convinced me, and he got me to come back because I believe this is actually useful. This could actually interest a lot of corporations and like industrialists that gave up on crypto exactly because of the problems that Jonathan managed to solve. So it certainly drew me back.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah, I think I have something on my end.
Go for it.
It's the conversation a lot of people have as far as, and I think this was briefly touched on, and I might not have been able to give my input, is how do people view Kaspa, right? It's the same way when you look at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is viewed as a store of value, and then Ethereum is viewed as, a technology. How do people view Kaspa? Because in many ways, Kaspa has been portrayed as, for a lot of people, whether it's correct or incorrect, is as a new Bitcoin, right? Or a upgraded version of Bitcoin, which would mean it to say, if people are taking that simple approach, that its inherent aspect is a store of value. But is Kaspa essentially a store of value? What if you had to categorize Kaspa into a industry within the crypto space, where would it go?
Well, I would say something about that, and this is just my perspective that I feel like people don't talk about as much as I would like to hear. But what I see is that, especially given that the block rewards end in relatively soon in 2037, is that the ultimate end goal for any of these layer ones like Bitcoin or Ethereum is to, and now Kaspa, is to be able to provide a scalable base layer to host whatever applications that people want to build on top of them, and to do it on the base layer without any L2s. And we know that that's not possible for Bitcoin, and it's not possible for Ethereum because they're not scalable enough. And so if you look at the Bitcoin white paper, which the whole intention behind it was, it all goes back to Bitcoin, was to be a peer-to-peer electronic cash, which Bitcoin was able to like effectively send value, a medium of exchange, but not in a way that can be used for daily life to buy coffee or anything, just that you can't wait more than 10 minutes for, right? So if a project is able to enable that scalability on the base layer, that's what this whole space, that's what started all of this. And I think people forget that. Like, a lot of people speculate on companies that are, trying to convince everybody that they created some value, when a lot of them are just kind of VC-backed get-rich-quick schemes to try to, people don't really know how to assign value in the crypto space, in my opinion, because they forget where it all started. And so I see Kaspa as providing a really rock solid foundation for stuff to be built on top of it. And, if you have, for example, like an eBay or a Craigslist type of application on top of Kaspa, someone builds that, they can literally, it doesn't even need any crazy, pyramid scheme, get rich quick DeFi apps. It could literally, and anybody listening, if you have the means to do that, because I might want to try to do that, you can beat me to it, but I'm already thinking about it and talking to a friend of mine about it, to create an app like eBay or something where people can send Kaspa and eventually a stablecoin, because once smart contracts roll out, you will be able to have stablecoins on it. And I think that's a better medium of exchange than a volatile coin like Bitcoin or Kaspa. But you could theoretically now, anybody, as soon as somebody's willing to make it, because I think CoinPal offers basically a PayPal type of interface for Kaspa now. Someone could build just get a template and or code it from scratch if they can, and build an eBay type of situation where people can, put up a guitar or whatever they have that they want to sell and send some Kaspa right now, that can be done now before smart contracts. And then you have this instant settlement. But down the road, the scalability is what brings people in. Like if you have social media application built on it or something with really high volume, you need that scalability at the base layer. And that's where this all started. And I think people forget about it, because anytime you add an L2, a layer 2, you have centralization. Like the bar tab analogy for the Lightning Network on Bitcoin is really just speaks to the whole problem with Bitcoin, because it's the antithesis of what Bitcoin was. And the bar tab analogy is that you're at the bar and you order a few beers over the course of the night, and you open a tab with the bartender, and you don't pay anything when you get those beers, and you just walk around the bar and whatever. And at the end of the night, you pay the tab and you go home. So basically, you settled that transaction on the base layer, or the bartender is the base layer, the Bitcoin network, and everything outside the bar counter is the L2, and you have to trust that the people on the other side of the bar, the bartender, has to trust that they're going to settle up at the end of the night. And Kaspa makes all of this irrelevant, because it can all happen on the base layer. So that's why that's what I see, and that's why that's all I hold anymore. That's my entire thing, and I'm watching the chart closely, and that's all I found what I was looking for, this bear market, and that's why I'm excited.
Nice. Has anyone got?
I just want to say that making applications, web applications that have access to Kaspa Wallet is gonna be much easier quite soon, because that's part of the functionality that we're working on in the Rust, improving the API, and there is another independent project about wallet browser extension. So with this stuff, you can have web applications that have work with the wallet. You don't need smart contracts for that.
Nice. And in fact, whilst you're here, Shai, could you just explain in 5-year-old English your whip the other day when you were talking about voting and whatnot?
My what? You mean KIP?
Sorry, your KIP, sorry, not whip. Sorry, yeah, your CAS improvement proposal. Your CAS improvement proposal.
Yeah, it's a different thing. The KIP I wrote is not about online voting. It's about the proofs of the cryptographic receipts that I talked about earlier. That's the content of the KIP. The voting proposal is not a KIP, because it's an independent project. It's not an improvement to the Kaspa code base. Just an idea I had that you could use. You see, think about the Huobi voting that was right now. Huobi voted for what's the next coin they're gonna get listed, and people everywhere could vote. And the second they went out with this voting, I started being bombarded on Telegram with people telling me, I can get you 100 million votes, I can get you 200 million votes for $50, for $5,000, this kind of stuff. So this is just an example. The idea is from before that, essentially to use if you want to hold a vote, the vote would still be centralized. Like you are holding the vote and you decide what to do with the result. There is no on-chain governance that prevents you from doing what you want, but the chain itself would be used for tallying the votes. So it doesn't, it provides like a mild sort of security. I mean, it shouldn't be used to elect the US president, but I think there are a lot of contexts where it is suitable. And the thing is that it provides you what I call linear Sybil resistance. A Sybil resistance is essentially something that prevents you from voting a trillion times. In Bitcoin, the proof of work works as a Sybil resistance. Now, the best kind of Sybil resistance you can hope for when things are permissionless, when you don't know who the people voting are, is that voting 1 million times would cost 1 million times as much as voting once. If you want to put it doesn't matter how many votes you put in, every vote costs you the same, which is not what happens today, because like if you have a vote on Twitter, you can buy 1 million bots for $1,000. The more votes you buy, the cheaper it gets. And so I thought you could use the Kaspa blockchain for that. And just for tallying votes, you get this really nice protocol where the tallier can't forge votes. Cryptographically, it's impossible. And they can't omit votes because then people would notice, because all of the votes are recorded on the blockchain. So they would see that votes are missing. And so it's like this semi-DAO thing where still whoever makes the decision has this governance. It's not an on-chain governance, which is a concept I don't really believe in. But you do have to use the blockchain to be able to have votes in a way which is much harder to manipulate. And so I thought about it, I went through the details, and I saw that this essentially could be implemented over Kaspa today. It doesn't require changing the consensus. It doesn't even require changing the peer-to-peer behavior of the nodes. It's just if you write a client for that, then it would work. And I think it could be a really nice project for someone to take up on.
Nice. Well, yeah, amazing. So we're going to have to start rounding things up now. So for all the speakers, that's Jim, Shai, Josh, and Alex, is there anything you'd like to finish off with? Any points you'd like to make? Anything that you've been storing? Now is your time. Go for it, Josh.
No, nothing on my side, actually. I think it's just been a really, really great opportunity to get to meet other people in the space. And I think the fact that the project is where it is and we're so early in the stage and things like this are happening is just a really exciting time. And again, it never ceases to amaze me how awesome a lot of people are from the crypto community. So, no, thanks for inviting me on.
Nice. Thanks. What about you, Alex?
Yeah, no, I really do appreciate this opportunity. I think it's, the networking aspect and getting, there's a lot of things you don't know that you don't know. And so getting the opportunity to come on this space, having Shai here, having so many other people here as well, people with a lot more time in the industry, a lot more knowledge in different parts of the industry. It's a whole collective of 200, 300 people that have been in this space. Of learning from people who have experience in different aspects of the industry. And in every space, regardless whether it's Kaspa specific, but every space that allows you to learn more about what you're involved into is a huge, huge win. So, today I learned a lot of stuff. I expect a lot of other people here learned a lot of stuff as well.
Nice. That's amazing. Yeah. And again, thank you. What about yourself, Shai? Anything else you'd like to finish on? Any other thoughts?
Just my usual shout out to the community.
Nice. Amazing.
Nice and sweet to the point.
Legend. And Jim, the one and only. What are your thoughts, mate? Any closing thoughts?
Sorry, my microphone wasn't cooperating. Yeah, I mean, this has been good because I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to the nuts and bolts of mining, and I was not just with how they approach it all, and it kind of, it kind of confirmed my suspicion that the people who are the miners securing the network, running the network, are pretty bullish on Kaspa, and you got to assume that if someone's going to go through all the effort of and spending the capital on acquiring mining equipment, that they have a good feel for what's going on and some experience. So that was nice to hear.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, thank you so much, everyone. And I mean, it's quite weird. I'm looking at the charts right now. We've had a bit of an update today. CAS against Bitcoin is now an all-time high. CAS against Ethereum is also at an all-time high, and we're running on to that. But I guess my word of warning is that everyone, especially, I hate to, this is for lack of a better word, but it seems like this is a little bit of a moon boy community sometimes. And sometimes I see people, having some concerns and whatnot, and they do get attacked. And I think as a community, we shouldn't attack or berate people that have concerns, because you don't know what you don't know, and ultimately it's all a learning process. So what someone may be stuck on, may be trivial for you at some point or now, but I think one of the things I do like is that it is a very helpful community. So yeah, we should do that. And I guess my closing thought. Oh, by the way, and I will keep on subtly applying pressure, Shai. It'll be really good to have another Spaces with just you, because I have a million technical questions, and I think that would be awesome. But I guess the closing thought I'll leave everyone with is Cardano. This was born in October 2017. It was launched as a smart contract platform. And then by 2020, it was a $3.8 billion market cap, right? Just normal, going with the flows.
There you have it. And this video actually ran a lot longer than I thought it was going to run. So I'll probably make another video with the numbers today. But there's a lot of interesting information here, especially towards the end. I did post this video before, but I just wanted to cut to some of the meat in the video at the very end. If you can see, the video is 2 hours and 17 minutes. So I just got the end there. And in the end, they're talking about the importance of Kaspa and some of the things you can do with Kaspa. And the reason I wanted to post that is because there is some FUD starting to circulate. But as he mentioned at the end, not to attack the people that have FUD or haters or questions. Since this is a new project, there's going to be a lot of questions. And the best thing to do is answer the questions or try to do your own research. Don't get caught up in the back and forth and people screaming and yelling and trying to tell you how things are going to work or not going to work, or how it won't last, or how the price will dip at some point or the price will take off. I wouldn't argue with these guys or even highlight them. I would say just continue to hold, and the future will tell what will happen, right? So there's no reason to argue with these guys or go back and forth or whatever you're planning to do. But just keep in mind, Kaspa's project is good, and there's a lot of good development and a lot of smart people working here. But let me know what you think about the video in the comments. I'll try to get another video out for Friday and actually go through the numbers. But this is Black Tiger Miners signing out. Remember, Kaspa, Kaspa, Kaspa. And let's get back to the money, guys.